Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the world of cybersecurity.
Oh, very nice.
Specifically, a story about WhatsApp account security
Oh,
that might make you think twice about those six-digit verification codes we all use.
absolutely. And, we'll be dissecting a recent case
Okay.
that demonstrates how a security feature intended to protect users can actually backfire, leaving them in a worse position than if it didn't exist at all.
So paint the picture for us.
Yeah.
A typical WhatsApp user, just like you, going about their day, getting those codes whenever they switch devices or log in. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, it all hinges on social engineering.
Okay.
Instead of some complex technical hack, this is about manipulating people into handing over those codes.
Right.
It's like tricking someone into giving you the keys to their house.
Okay, so how does that actually play out? What's an example of this kind of attack?
So imagine you get a text that looks like it's from WhatsApp support,
Okay.
claiming there's been suspicious activity on your account.
Yeah.
They urge you to reply with the six-digit code you just received to verify your account.
Oh, gosh.
In reality, it's the attacker trying to hijack your account.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's scary. I bet most people would fall for that.
Oh, yeah.
So what happens once the attacker gets that code?
Well, that's when the nightmare begins.
Okay.
The attacker can take over the account. But here's where the real issue comes in.
Okay.
WhatsApp has a security feature
Right.
designed to prevent brute force attacks.
So a feature designed to make things more secure is actually the problem.
Exactly. It's called a 12-hour registration block.
Okay.
When someone enters incorrect codes multiple times, WhatsApp blocks any new registrations for 12 hours.
Okay.
This is supposed to prevent someone from just guessing codes over and over.
Gotcha. Okay, but wouldn't that stop the attacker in their tracks?
Well, that's where the irony comes in.
Okay.
See, the attacker can intentionally trigger this 12-hour block by entering wrong codes repeatedly.
Oh, wow.
And each time the real owner tries to regain access, the attacker can just trigger the block again, essentially locking them out indefinitely.
So the feature designed to prevent unauthorized access actually helps the attacker maintain control.
Pretty much it.
That's crazy. So this 12-hour block,
Yeah.
is it actually effective in stopping brute force attacks?
Not really. A six-digit code has a million possible combinations.
Okay.
If an attacker could try a code every second, it would still take them over 11 days to try them all.
Yeah.
So in reality, brute force attacks are very unlikely to succeed with six-digit codes.
So you're saying the 12-hour block is redundant and doesn't add much extra protection?
Precisely.
Okay.
And to make matters worse, instead of just blocking the specific device where the wrong codes were entered,
Right.
they block the entire account.
Okay.
This punishes the wrong person. The legitimate owner who already has the linked phone is the one suffering.
It's like getting robbed and then the police blame you for not having a better lock on your door.
That's a great analogy.
It makes no sense.
It highlights a much larger point about cybersecurity in general.
Okay.
Sometimes security measures are designed more for the convenience of the system
Right.
rather than the humans using it.
Okay. This brings up a larger point.
Yeah.
What other examples are there of user-unfriendly security measures?
Oh, we've all encountered them. Overly complex password requirements.
Right.
Those CAPTCHA tests that make you question your own humanity.
I can't stand those.
Two-factor authentication that feels more like a chore than actual protection.
Sometimes I can barely read those distorted letters myself. I swear they're getting harder and harder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But true cybersecurity should be as seamless and user-friendly as possible.
Right.
It should be designed to protect people, not drive them crazy or lock them out of their accounts.
So this WhatsApp case is really a symptom of a larger problem.
Absolutely. It raises serious questions about how companies balance security with user experience.
Okay.
And it underscores the need for a more human-centered approach to cybersecurity.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem, but
Okay.
what's the solution? What can be done to make these systems actually work for us, not against us?
Well,
So we've been unpacking this WhatsApp security flaw, and it seems like there's a real disconnect between how some security measures are designed and how people actually use them.
it's like they built a high-tech security system for a house but forgot to put in a working doorknob for the homeowner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are some key takeaways from all of this?
Well, first and foremost, it's a reminder that blindly trusting security measures without understanding them can backfire.
Right.
We assume these systems are foolproof, but as we've seen, they can be exploited, especially when human behavior is factored in.
Yeah, and what about the company's role in all of this? It sounds like WhatsApp's customer support was a big part of the problem in this case.
Absolutely. When things go wrong, as they inevitably do in the digital world,
Yeah.
we need companies to be there for us.
Yeah.
It's not just about fixing technical glitches. It's about providing timely and effective support to users who are feeling helpless.
In this case, the slow response from WhatsApp only made a bad situation worse. It really highlights the need for companies to prioritize user experience alongside security.
Couldn't agree more. After all, what good is a secure system if it leaves its users stranded when they need help the most? And let's not forget that these companies are entrusted with our personal data and digital lives.
Okay, so let's shift gears and talk solutions. You mentioned device-level restrictions as a better way to handle suspicious activity.
Yeah,
Can you elaborate on that?
sure. Instead of blocking the entire account when there are repeated failed login attempts, why not just block access from that specific device?
Okay.
This would prevent the attacker from getting in while allowing the legitimate user to retain control from their trusted devices.
That's a much more targeted approach. It seems like common sense, but I guess common sense isn't always so common in the world of cybersecurity.
You're telling me. But in all seriousness, it's about finding that balance between security and usability. We want to be protected, but we don't want our digital lives to be overly complicated or restricted.
Right. It's like airport security.
Yeah.
We accept certain inconveniences because we understand the need for safety.
Right.
But if those security measures were so cumbersome that they prevented us from actually traveling, they wouldn't be very effective.
That's a great analogy. It all comes down to good design. Security measures should be effective, but they should also be as unobtrusive as possible.
So what can we as users do to protect ourselves?
Well, for starters, we need to be more aware of the security measures we encounter every day, and we need to understand how they work.
Okay.
Don't just blindly click through those security prompts or updates. Take a moment to understand the risks and choose tools and practices that meet your individual needs.
So it's about being informed and making conscious choices, not just going through the motions.
Exactly. And we also need to demand better from the companies we entrust with our data. Security shouldn't be a trade-off for convenience or accessibility.
This conversation has definitely made me more aware of the security measures I encounter every day. It's easy to take them for granted, but it's important to remember that they're there for a reason.
It's also important to remember that security is an ongoing process, not a one-time fix. The threats are constantly evolving, and we need to evolve with them.
So what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this deep dive into the dark side of WhatsApp security? It's definitely been an eye-opening conversation. So what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this deep dive into the dark side of WhatsApp security?
I'd say this true cybersecurity isn't just about building walls and moats to keep the bad guys out.
It's about protecting the people inside those walls.
Exactly. It's about designing systems that are both secure, A&D, human-centered security that's so seamless and user-friendly, you barely even notice it's there.
Like a good bodyguard. Always there, always watching, but never getting in the way.
Precisely. And that requires a shift in thinking, both from the companies that design these systems and from us as users.
So what does that shift look like? What can companies do differently?
Well, for starters, they need to involve users in the design process. Security measures shouldn't be developed in a vacuum.
Right.
They need to be tested and refined with real people in mind.
So it's about understanding how people actually use technology, not how engineers think they use it.
Right. And it's about prioritizing user education.
Yeah.
Companies need to do a better job of explaining how security features work and why they're important. We can't expect users to make informed choices if they don't understand the risks.
So it's not just about building better systems, it's about building a better understanding of those systems.
Absolutely. And that's where we as users have a responsibility too.
Yeah.
We need to be proactive about our own security. We need to educate ourselves, ask questions, and demand better from the companies we entrust with our data.
It's like anything else in life. The more you know, the better equipped you are to make good decisions. So don't be afraid to ask questions, do your research, and speak up if something doesn't feel right.
Exactly. And remember, security is a shared responsibility. We all have a role to play in making the digital world a safer place.
Well said. This has been a truly insightful deep dive into the complex world of cybersecurity. We've uncovered some vulnerabilities, explored the human element, and discussed ways to make these systems work better for all of us.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you.
And to our listeners, we hope this episode has given you some food for thought. Remember, true cybersecurity is about protecting people, not just systems. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe out there.
And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode. Join the conversation on our social media and let us know what resonated with you. Until next time, keep exploring and keep questioning.